It's the Megacast, an hour-long TV and radio streaming show keeping you informed on the day-to-day news. Live from West Bloomfield, we're bringing you the news, updates, and information impacting communities around Michigan. Join our host, Tyler Kieft, as he talks with community members, business leaders, and professional experts about the stories that impact you. You're watching the Megacast on Civic Center TV. Stop by West Bloomfield Town Hall June 14th and get your health in check at the 14th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair. Over 40 businesses, organizations, and vendors take the time to showcase healthy practices, tips, and resources for the community. Young or old, there's something for everyone and everybody. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday, June 14th, the 14th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair. This community update from Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
There are many different kinds of noses. Our noses can sniff out all kinds of things. Good things and bad things. Your nose knows if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
When the temperatures are chilly, being together warms the soul. Keep the winter fun going. Help protect yourself and those around you by keeping your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
I'm Steve Eiserman of the Detroit Red Wings, and I think every child in Michigan deserves a safe, healthy, and happy childhood. Can we build a state where Children Trust Michigan isn't just a name, but something our kids believe? Please support Children Trust Michigan as the voice for children and families by visiting the website to learn more.
Welcome to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan and Oakland County. I'm Tyler Kieft. Today we'll be talking to a number of people about topics of interest and importance to Michiganders and Oakland County residents just like you. Let's begin with what's making headlines today on CivicCenterTV.com's local news page. Our top story comes from Matthew Farr at the Oakland Press. As enrollment at community colleges across the nation continues to plummet, that is not the case, at least not as severely, right here in Oakland County at Oakland Community College. Since 2010, 37% of community colleges have seen enrollment rates fall, and almost 50% of students at those community colleges end up dropping out after just a year. That's per a study by the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center, with just over 40% of students completing their education at these institutions within 6 years. At OCC, enrollment is lower than it was in the past. It's not necessarily rising, but it's lowering at a much less severe rate than its counterparts across the U.S. Between fall of 2019 and 2022, OCC saw enrollment drop just 12.7%. Again, for reference, the rest of similar institutions to OCC across the nation have seen since 2010 a drop of 37% in enrollment, and just over the last 3 to 4 years, OCC has only seen their enrollment drop 12.7%. That is over a quarter less than the national average, per that same study from National Student Clearinghouse Research Center. We have reached out to OCC to talk further about this, but already Chancellor Peter M. Provenzano Jr. has told the Oakland Press that a big factor in the difference between his institution and other community colleges locally and nationwide is that when faced with the new challenges in education in recent years, as well as in society such as COVID-19, OCC strategically innovated and modernized the way that they operate all across the board, from education to resources and beyond, keeping students in the classroom in some ways and the others, whether physically or virtually, and attracting new interest to OCC as well. On the COVID-19 crisis, Provenzano said, quote, "We use this time to quickly pivot and modernize our processes, adapt our delivery model to address student need and demand, and create new programs and support services with greater access and a focus on student success," end quote. Keeping students enrolled is the big challenge in higher education these days, especially at our community colleges. Per that study I've referenced a few times, 37% drop in enrollment on average between 2010 and today. OCC in this regard also stands out, as most institutions have seen persistence rates or students returning from one fall semester to the next drop in recent years. OCC has actually seen a rise in the past 5 years from 53.8% to just over 54%. And a lot of this has to do with, as was mentioned in this article, it's really interesting. I do suggest if you have the time to do so, get a few minutes today, go to our local news page on civicscentertv.com and click through. It's a top story on there. Just click on the OCC logo or click on the headline and read this article in full from Matthew Farr at the Oakland Press. Did a great job of exploring what OCC is doing that's standing out from the crowd, that's helping them minimize the effect of lowering enrollment at community colleges nationwide, and what they're doing to keep students coming back to OCC from one fall to the next. That's typically where an academic calendar is measured. It's from fall to the next fall. Fall is the beginning of that academic year, even though they have spring and summer classes as well. That's really that opening benchmark. And so having that persistence rate actually go up, that includes those that may drop out, may switch institutions, may graduate, and so on. You have actually a rise in people returning to Oakland Community College the next fall semester over after being there the previous fall semester. That's not the case at a lot of these community colleges, not only in Michigan, but across the U.S. It's a common problem. So among what OCC has done, they have transitioned some classes to be hybrid, online and virtual, or entirely online. They've also provided some technological resources to students, particularly over the COVID-19 pandemic. We did at that time, during the pandemic, as they were doing this, speak to Peter M. Provenzano, their chancellor, about some of those programs and why they were put in place, how they were being put in place, whom among the students were going to be impacted by those decisions. And clearly it has persisted and it has made a big impact at OCC. So we'll talk to Oakland Community College more about this, hopefully in the very near future, as we continue to make arrangements on getting them a time on our live show in the near future. They are interested. I have been in contact with the media team and the marketing team at Oakland Community College, trying to get them on the show this week. They are interested. We're continuing to talk and work on their schedule, and we'll have them on the program soon to really take a deeper dive into this. It's very interesting. I highly encourage you, if you get some time today, go to our website, civicscentertv.com, click on our local news link. It's the top story there. Really interesting stuff and good progress being made at our community colleges right here in our local area at Oakland Community College and its multiple campuses throughout the Oakland County community. Also making headlines today from Bridge, Michigan's Isabel Lohman. Once again this week, a judge has decided to permit the graduate student worker strike at the University of Michigan to continue. Washtenaw County Circuit Court Judge Carol Kunke declined a preliminary injunction or a temporary restraining order requested by the U of M Board of Regents, stating that the strike, while impactful on education, was not causing the university a, quote, extremely high standard, end quote, of harm. That's what the hearing was supposed to be making a determination on, again, this week, as the university once again petitioned to local courts to shut down this strike from its graduate student workers who are teaching classes, who are teaching assistants in classes while they're taking graduate level courses. The big question was, is this strike harming the university's ability to deliver educational services to the public? And is that harm severe enough that a strike like this needs to be shut down just a couple weeks in to its progress? Can they operate adequately without their graduate assistants and without their TAs while the terms of their union deal being discussed between the GEO and the University of Michigan continues on, as graduate students have claimed in recent times that The pay that they're getting, their current wages, are not a livable wage, that they are living well below the means that are necessary in order to live in or around Ann Arbor in particular, in order to fulfill their duties in terms of teaching and education at the University of Michigan. Keep in mind, these are graduate students who are working as teachers in these classes, as TAs, as graduate assistants in these different classroom environments. And so not only are they students, not only are they in some cases paying for that education out of pocket, they're also paying for those living expenses too. And they're simply not, and they're claiming they simply are not making enough money from this job in order to have a livable wage in Ann Arbor, a college town that tends to be a little bit more on the expensive side anyway at this time. And so that is why they are striking in the first place. The university says that irreparable harm in the form of canceled classes, among other issues, has been made by the GEO on top of a violation of their current deal and claims of a violation of state law that prohibits certain public workers from going on strike. Judge Kuhnke said no, classes being canceled is not, in fact, a severely harmful activity and the strike may continue. A response from the University of Michigan's attorney, Craig Schwartz, said, quote, "We've seen that we have had many classes and sections canceled. This is not the education that the University of Michigan students deserve," and closed quote. The counterpoint coming from the union is that given the current situation, perhaps the university may resolve this issue of canceled classes and the ways it's affecting those classes this current semester by adjusting its grading protocols and procedures, referencing the moves that the university had made during mass cancellations over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. Look, this is not a new problem. This is not a new issue. It's not an issue that is solely being had at the University of Michigan. In recent weeks, we have seen graduate student workers go on strike or begin to protest their wages at other universities across the entire United States, including here in Michigan, just across the state at Grand Valley State University. This has been the one that's been longest ongoing at this current time, or about longest ongoing in the state of Michigan at this time, and certainly given that it's at U of M and it's at their Ann Arbor campus in particular, it's getting a lot of press. But there are some critical issues behind the strike, behind what the graduate organization, this particular union, the GEO, is clamoring for from the university in terms of their wages. And it's been ongoing in higher education from graduate level student workers for a long time. We recently spoke to Michael Greiner on the program, as we do each and every week, to talk about the markets and to talk about the economy. We spoke to him on Friday of last week, and this was a topic that came up. Highly encourage you to go to our on-demand page on civiccentertv.com or go straight to our Megacast page, civiccentertv.com/Megacast, and watch that interview. About halfway through, we started talking to Dr. Greiner about the different issues behind this strike at the University of Michigan, how it parallels other strikes across the U.S., how it parallels some of the issues that have been ongoing in higher education for a number of years and complaints that have been made by graduate workers for a number of years. And it's just something that's been getting a lot of steam at the University of Michigan, in particular because of them being in and out of court against the Board of Regents. In this case, we're trying to shut down that strike and return these graduates to the classrooms where they teach every single week at the University of Michigan as they're approaching the end of their school year, at least the fall to spring semester calendar. Additionally, making headlines today on our local news page on civiccentertv.com from the Detroit News' Charles E. Ramirez. More threats, more false alarms, this time in Lansing on Monday, where threats of a gunman and a bomb were sent to Sparrow Hospital, were reported at Sparrow Hospital in Lansing. Officers were called to one of the state capital's most prevalent hospital systems early in the morning, responding to reports of a gunman with an AR-15 in the hospital. While en route to Sparrow Hospital, more calls came in. This time, there's allegedly a bomb in the building. As this procedure, the hospital was thoroughly checked, and law enforcement took this very seriously, arriving just after the call that came in at 3:30 a.m. Regarding the threat at the hospital in Lansing. By 6:30 a.m., an all clear was given and it was declared this was again a false alarm. It's what officials say was a quote-unquote swatting, where false reports are made to send police units, mainly SWAT, to a location where there is, in fact, no threat, and perhaps even just an innocent person or a group of innocent people may be accused of a crime they haven't even thought of committing at any point currently or in the future. In response to the incident, Lansing police did tweet on Monday saying, quote, "We take swatting calls like these very seriously, and we continue to investigate to try to find out who is responsible." This is not an isolated form of these kinds of threats. We have seen these sorts of threats be made at a variety of different locations in our local area and across the state of Michigan just in the last few weeks. This is not something that is an isolated incident at Sparrow Hospital in Lansing. Just over the weekend, false reports were made at Great Lakes Crossing. Of course, that stemmed from a different incident. We do have an article on our local news page from yesterday, from Monday, that explains that there was an incident. There was a fight in the food court. Somebody had been engaged by an officer's taser, and a person in the crowd nearby yelled shots fired. That led to people fleeing, calling 911, saying there was an active shooter at Great Lakes Crossing. They came in, they investigated, never was a shooter, no shots were fired, nobody was injured. It was a false alarm, and they're still looking for the person that did yell shots fired. It's the equivalent of yelling fire in a theater. This swatting incident and others are the equivalent of doing that, but on a large scale, involving local law enforcement and involving putting people potentially in harm in their homes or in their offices or in other public and heavily trafficked locations like a hospital, like a mall, like a school or some other location. If there is a false threat being made, people are still in danger as they may be fleeing. Some may flee very quickly and trip and fall or run into each other and get injured. Others that may have been accused of crimes falsely that aren't even occurring may be, of course, approached by law enforcement, and sometimes those situations do boil over and they go awry, and somebody, either on the officer's side or on that of those that they're approaching, may also get hurt or otherwise harmed in some way, shape, or form. So these are extremely dangerous situations. It's partly why law enforcement takes them so seriously after the fact, and they do vigorously chase after those that make these false reports and these swatting reports. We also saw that Saturday, Novi police were called at about 12 noon to Nordstrom at the 12 Oaks Mall over a bomb threat as well. They searched the store. They found nothing suspicious. And a caller told officials that he wanted $2,000 in gift cards or he would blow up the store. Another false report. There was no bomb in the 12 Oaks Mall. We've seen threats that were made even just in the recent months, just a couple of, just in the same week as the shooting at Michigan State University on February 13th. Just before that, threats were made at high schools in the Lansing area, in the Oakland County area, across the state. Those were false threats as well. And so this is not something that's new. It's something that we're seeing, unfortunately, quite commonly of recent times. And that's why law enforcement continues to say after this, look, there's no credible threat, but we are very much pursuing the people that have made, or the person that has made, these false reports. It's extremely dangerous. It puts the public in danger, and that's why law enforcement takes this very seriously. Of course, they're going to take the threats seriously too. They're never going to get into a position, or we would hope they would never get into a position where they would say, well, this seems like another one of those false threats. We're not going to engage, because at some point you're going to, if you're going to cry wolf on a mass shooting, on a bomb threat, on some other threat to the public or to a number of people in a private area, it could turn bad and it could actually be credible. So they're always going to look into that. But when it's false, they also take that very seriously after the fact, and they continue to pursue those people. So if you think that's funny, if you think it's a good joke, think it's a nice little prank, you're very much wrong. It's going to end badly for you, and it's going to probably end badly for a lot of people involved too. Potentially could end badly for a lot of people involved. If someone does get injured, someone does get hurt, people do irrational things when they believe they're in danger that could put other people in danger as well. So swatting, not an innocent little prank, not a good crime to be committing either. You are going to be pursued by law enforcement, including those in Lansing who are looking for those that person or individuals that may have been responsible for the false report of a shooter with an AR-15, as well as the false bomb threat report from early Monday morning. Finally, making headlines today on our local news page on civiccentertv.com from Frank Witzel at the Detroit Free Press. Summer weather is here this week in Oakland County and around the state of Michigan. Unfortunately, so are summer gas prices. Oof. Average price for a gallon of unleaded gas in the state of Michigan right now is at $3.62. That's 10 cents higher than it was a week ago and currently stands 2 cents above the national average. And AAA says it's not over just yet, warning that prices may jump as high as, brace yourselves, $5 per gallon. Now, don't panic. It's not clear whether or not those prices will rise to that point at $5 a gallon, which was the high watermark last year in 2022. But the price of a gallon of gas will continue to rise in the near future per their projections because of a rise in crude oil prices, a rise in demand. Production issues have also come into effect here. This is all described in Witzel's article from the Detroit Free Press, and said Gas Buddies Patrick DeHaan, this is of course an app that will help, that's aimed at helping individuals find the most affordable gas in their local area or areas that they're frequenting. DeHaan said, quote, prices are being pulled up not only due to continued increases in demand as temperatures warm, but also pressure from oil prices, which have risen over 20% in the last month. Expect the upward trend to continue through much of the rest of spring, but once the transition into summer gasoline and refinery maintenance are behind us, April and May jumps could bring June slumps as well, and closed quote. The most expensive gas prices in the state of Michigan currently are up north in Marquette at $3.70 per gallon, in mid-Michigan in Jackson and Saginaw at $3.67 per gallon. The least expensive gas prices in the state of Michigan, Rejoice here in Metro Detroit, $3.58 per gallon, among the lowest prices in the state. And then up north, Traverse City, $3.62 per gallon, and just a little ways away from us here in Oakland County, in Ann Arbor, $3.64 per gallon. So if you are complaining about gas prices being higher than they usually are here in Oakland County, and well, that is the case across the state of Michigan, but Oakland County right here in Metro Detroit, among the cheapest gas in the state of Michigan, with an average in Metro Detroit $3.58 per gallon at this time. But keep in mind, those prices are expected to continue to rise in the near future. All of those headlines are making news today and all throughout the week on our website on civiccentertv.com. Just click on our local news link for more information, and you'll also find at the top of the page links that take you directly to public health information from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Oakland County Health Division. We have a great show ahead on today's edition of the Megacast. Coming up next, it's about that time of year to get your dog licenses, why this is important, and what will happen if you don't get your license updated this year. That's next. Stay tuned. This is the Megacast.
When the temperatures are chilly, being together warms the soul. Keep the winter fun going. Help protect yourself and those around you by keeping your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan and Oakland County. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about our program and stay up to date with all of our partnering stations throughout the Oakland County area by visiting our website on civiccentertv.com/megacast. There you'll also find our full episodes and every single one of our segments on demand in case you're not able to join us every day throughout the work week live from 10 a.m. to 11. You can always find us online on civiccentertv.com/megacast. Well, we're approaching that time of the year where your dog licenses are due into your local municipality and or into Oakland County as per our state law. And joining us now to talk about this is Bob Gatt, the manager of the Oakland County Animal Control Division. Bob, thanks for being with us today.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you on. This is something that happens routinely every single year. You need to renew your dog licenses, but let's just go to the basis of the issue. Why do we need to have our dogs be licensed, unlike some other pets that we may commonly have in our local area?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question and one that I hear all the time. Let me start by saying this. Number one, it's the law. The state of Michigan has a law. It's over 100 years old. It originated in 1919, called the Michigan Dog Law. And in that law is a myriad of events that have to happen with your dog. You have to take care of her. You have to take it to the vet. But you also have to have a dog license. And if we go back in history, the reason that law was put into effect is because in those days, there was a deadly disease called rabies that still exists today. Only back in those days, more and more and more people were dying of rabies. And so the legislators got together and said, how can we reduce or eliminate that? And the rabies came from being bitten by rabid dogs. And the only way we could really stop that was to have the dog immunized. And in order to have the dog immunized, they enacted a law that said all dogs must be registered in the county in which they live, and registration means a dog license. And in order to get a dog license, your dog has to be immunized. So why do we need a license? Number one, it's the law. And just like we need a driver's license, we need licenses to do so many things, we need a license for our dog. Another reason why you should have your dog license is if the dog escapes, if the dog happens to bolt out the door when you open it, or escapes from a leash, or somehow gets away from you, the dog license will obviously make it easier and make it better for that animal to come home to you. Somebody who finds that dog, whether it be law enforcement or just a neighbor, will look on the license and your name or your address or the license number will be recorded somewhere, and we can get that dog back to you. And then it's a matter of public safety. If you and your family are walking down the road and a dog bites you, today, if that dog is not immunized, then you may be subject to some very painful and very expensive rabies vaccination. So those are the reasons that we give to people. I'm a dog owner. I happen to believe that it's the right thing to do, and I also happen to believe that it will help my dog in the long run. It gives me the incentive to get to that doctor at least once a year to get that rabies vaccination.
And in addition to fulfilling the Michigan Dog Law of 1919 and getting your dogs licensed and having those protections also in place that the state knows that your dog is up to date on their vaccinations for rabies, and of course if the dog escapes or gets loose and gets lost and is found, that they can of course get back to their home. On top of that, it's also a time where the Oakland County Animal Control Division, by collecting these licenses, takes part in a so-called census for the dogs as well. How is that important to Oakland County?
Well, it's important to everybody in Michigan, not just Oakland County. That census is part of the Michigan Dog Law of 1919. It says in part in that law that every county once a year shall conduct a census to determine how many dogs are in the county. Now, here's how we do it. We know in our database how many dogs have licenses. We know where that dog lives. What we do then is we send a team of usually college-age kids out to the various areas in Oakland County, and they walk the neighborhoods, and they're looking for signs of a dog, a leash on a doorknob, a dog house, or a dog in the window, dog barking. We know that X amount of homes have the licensed dogs. We don't go there, but we will go to a home that doesn't have a license in our database. And when we see signs of or hear signs of a dog there, then we approach that home. Now, the people that we hire in the summer to do our census for us, they don't have any authority or any power to give tickets or anything. By the way, it is a misdemeanor crime not to license your dog, a misdemeanor. You can be fined and or go to jail. And the legislature did that, not Oakland County. So that's how we do it in the summer. We go out and we pick neighborhoods. We obviously can't go to every neighborhood in Oakland County. It's much too big a county for that. But we do pick certain areas of the county, and we send our team out Monday through Friday. Now, after June 1st, so beginning June 2nd, the Board of Commissioners has imposed a fine for those people who don't have a current dog license. Keeping in mind that the dog license expires December 31st of the previous year. So we give everybody actually I say 6 months because a next year's dog license goes on sale December 1st of the previous year. So you have December of the previous year, January, February, March, April, and May to buy your dog license with no penalty. Starting June 2nd, there is a penalty, and all dog licenses after June 1st cost $40, whereas before June 1st, the average dog who's been spayed or neutered, the license fee is only $15.
You can find more information from the Oakland County Animal Control Division as well as the Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center by visiting oakgov.com/community and scrolling over to the Pet Adoption division there and clicking on Animal Control. If you go to oakgov.com, scroll over Community, you'll see Pet Adoption on the right side of the screen and animal control, dog licenses, and so on and so forth under that, and find a lot more information, including where you can obtain and pay for your annual dog license. Joining us on the program today is the manager of the Oakland County Animal Control Division, Bob Gatt. And on top of the dog licenses, there's plenty more that the Oakland County Animal Control Division does to protect animals and protect pets and individuals right here in Oakland County. Bob, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the other services that are provided day to day by your division?
Oh, absolutely. I'm the manager of the whole shelter, so it's not just the Animal Control Division. Our Animal Control Division are at the enforcement edge of our division. We go out and make sure that pets are being properly cared for. If we have several cases in court right now for abuse and neglect. So our people make sure that your dog has a license, and make sure it's not running large, and then make sure that it's being cared for properly. What we don't do here is enforce a local ordinance. We get many calls from people saying, hey, my neighbor's dog is barking, the noise is unpleasant. We do not enforce that kind of activity. That's for your local PD. Another thing we do here, though, I just can't not talk about this, is we're an adoption agency. We have over 150 dogs in our building right now up for adoption, and about 100 cats here right now today for adoption. And we encourage all your listeners, if you're looking for a pet, if you're looking for an animal, please give us a chance. Come and take a look at our pets. They come fully vetted with all the immunizations. They come spayed and neutered, and you can't beat the prices that we will give you a forever, we call it a forever loving companion in your home. Don't shop, adopt. This is where you come, and we'll hook you up with a loving animal that you'll love for a long time to come.
Yeah, take a look at their website by going to oakgov.com, scrolling over the community section, and clicking on pet adoption. There are links there to adopt the pet. You can see some of the different dogs and cats and other animals that are up for adoption. You can also send them an email, petadoption@oakgov.com, or give them a call Monday through Friday, 248-858-1070 for more information.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, and that's all, again, on their website, oakgov.com. And these pet adoption centers also provide such a critical role in preventing loose and stray animals from being in the local area, protecting them, getting them spayed and neutered. And so it really is a great place for people to go to explore some of the different dogs and cats and others that may be available to them. What is that difference maker between going to maybe a different adoption center or a shelter or another shelter and going right to your local one here at Oakland County?
We are the largest municipal shelter in the state. As a matter of fact, we have one of the best return to owner rates in the state. We don't euthanize here unless the animal is way too sick for what we can do, or way too aggressive to be placed in somebody's home without some problems occurring. I want to say this too. Sometimes it's difficult for people to get in to see a vet nowadays. Post-COVID, some vet offices closed. Some are acting with appointments only. If you want to get your animal, I'm talking about your dog, if you want to get a rabies vaccination and you can't get in to see your own doctor, every Tuesday from 9 in the morning until 11 in the morning, every Tuesday at our building, we will give you a free rabies immunization if you buy a license from us that day. That's how serious we are. We want to get that dog immunized. And by the way, every dog in the county, or every dog in the state, 4 months of age or older must have a current dog license per the Michigan dog law. But you come here on Tuesday morning between 9 and 11, no appointment necessary, and we will immunize your dog for free and sell you a current dog license at that time.
As Bob said, for those vaccinations and for along with the licenses, you do not need an appointment, but you can still call them for more information if you need at 248-858-1070, or call Animal Control 248-858-1090 for more information. On top of all this, there's also opportunities if people maybe they can't adopt at this time, they don't have a pet, but they love animals and they want to get involved in something in their community. There's also volunteer opportunities too through the Oakland County Pet Adoption and Animal Shelter as well. Can you tell us about those?
We are always looking for volunteers. We have a cadre of volunteers that come in every day. Right now, I have over 150 dogs in the building. Those dogs need to get out. They need to be exercised. They need to smell the fresh air, and they need to walk outside. We don't have the staff to do that here, to take out all those dogs. We're busy waiting on customers and doing all the things that's necessary in the shelter. So we have a very, very strong cadre of volunteers that come in every day, 7 days a week, rain or shine, hot weather, cold weather, and after a training class with some of our experts here, you are then allowed to take dogs out for a walk. Now, if you don't like dogs, we have plenty of cats, and we call them cat comforters. People will come in, take a cat out of the cage, and actually just pet it for a while and give it some human companionship. So absolutely, we are looking for volunteers all the time.
You can volunteer, you can adopt, you can get your rabies vaccination and your dog license, all through the Oakland County Pet Adoption and Animal Shelter Center at Oakland County. You can find more information by visiting their website at oakgov.com. If you scroll over the community section and click on pet adoption or the subsection of animal control, it's all right there. Give them a call, 248-858-1070, 248-858-1070 for more information, or send them an email, petadoption@oakgov.com. TV.com. Bob, anything else that we should know at this time on dog licenses or anything else that we've discussed?
Just one more thing. If you're interested in taking a dog home or even a cat, but you're not ready to adopt it, we have foster programs here too. So give us a call, come see us, and we'll hook you up, and we'll make you and a pet very happy.
Yes, they will. Very good work that's being done. Incredible stuff happening at the Oakland County Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center every single day. Bob, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
248.
Have a good day.
You as well. 248-858-1070 is the number for the Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center. You can call Animal Control as well at 248-858-1090 for plenty of more information. And again, all dogs 4 months of age and older are required to be licensed in the state of Michigan. That's per the Michigan Dog Law of 1919. And those licenses are coming due very soon here. You'll be able to either drop off those licenses or purchase them at your local city hall. You can do so at some veterinary offices as well as at the Oakland County Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center at 1200 North Telegraph Road. That is building 42E, located in Pontiac. We'll take a break on the Megacast. On the other side, one of over 340 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform will join us. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss that. It's coming up next on the Megacast.
My Michigan TV is streaming everywhere on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, and more smart TV apps. My Michigan TV is on your phone too. Take us with you wherever you go. Just search for My Michigan TV on your favorite app store or visit mymitv.com. All Michigan, streaming everywhere. My Michigan TV.
Hello, nose. My nose knows is when somebody uses the bathroom. Mom, Polly didn't flush. Ooh, I smell cookies.
I smell an A+.
How could my nose be running when it stays on my face?
Our noses know if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
There are many different kinds of noses. Our noses can sniff out all kinds of things. Good things and bad things. Your nose knows if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick.
The virus will die.
It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine.
To keep safe and strong.
Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. You can always join us and find more information, keep up to date on all of our partnering stations, including in your hometown here in Oakland County, by visiting our website on civiccentertv.com/megacast. There you'll find every single one of our segments and every single one of our full episodes dating all the way back to our start in March of 2020 on demand, so you can watch us any time of your day, even if you're not able to join us for our live shows, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Across the Metro Detroit area, over 343 charities and counting are supported on the Share Detroit platform. And joining us now on the program is one of those charities, Auntie Ashley Mattison and Nef Walker join us. They're the co-founders of the Auntie and Nef Foundation with us on today's edition of the Megacast. Thank you both for being with us today.
Hi. Good morning, Tyler. How are you?
Doing great. How are both of you today?
We're doing well.
Yeah, glad to have you both on to talk about the Auntie and Nef Foundation. Just to start off, tell us a little bit about the background of the foundation as well as some of the resources and or services that you provide.
So we'd like to thank you all for firstly having us on the show today. Greatly appreciate that. A little bit about us. My name is Neferkare, and this is Ashley, and we're the founders of the Auntie and Nef Foundation. A little bit of background about Ashley and I. We actually met in flight attendant initial training, and we began a friendship, and we soon learned that we both shared the same mutual passion for caring for youth and homeless in our community.
And so more information can be found on auntieneffoundation.com or by going to sharedetroit.org. Let's continue on. If you can just explain, too, some of those resources that are provided and go and elaborate a little bit more into that and how people can get access to them if they're in need of some of these services that you may provide in our local area.
Of course. So currently we provide resources such as educational tools. We have food pantries, clothing banks, and hygiene awareness. If you like to take advantage of some of those resources, you can visit us on our website, as you mentioned, auntieneffoundation.com. You can go on our homepage, you can go on our event or donor page, and just check us out. We're looking forward to incorporating more resources. So we do fundraising. So some of the fundraisers we've included have been game nights. We've done Qdoba. We've done Buffalo Wild Wings. Currently, we're doing a Double Good Popcorn fundraiser. You can find the link for that. It ends today at 5. You can find that link on our website or our social media, on our Instagram handle or our Facebook, and help garnish those funds so we can continue to provide these resources for the homeless youth in our communities.
And so where did this all begin, this effort to create this foundation, this nonprofit, and support those in our local area that may be in underprivileged or homeless situations? Why this issue for the both of you?
So like Nef mentioned, we met each other in flight attendant training school, and she's a mother of one, my precious Nala, and I'm a youth cheer and football coach. So we saw the disconnect with the peers or the people that are able to provide access to these resources. And we were like, well, there's so many talented, underprivileged youth or homeless youth who do not have the access or the tools to do the same things that children that are in our lives are able to do. So we saw a void, and our main goal was to fill it. We wanted to get the funding, make sure they're able to learn and grow, and that they're stimulated in other ways than toxic situations that could be occurring at home.
And so you founded this organization, you both co-founded this organization in 2022. Now being in 2023, a little bit over a year, let's say, and over the course of that time, just how much of an impact have you seen you've been able to make just so far in this effort?
So far, we've touched over 500 families. We've been able to provide all sorts of resources. We've done different drives where we've been able to supply school supplies, turkeys, winter warm items. So we've done a lot in the community, I would think, just thus far.
And so what communities are you serving, or who are these services available to in Detroit and the metro area?
So we service all of the Metro Detroit area with a focus on Wayne County, but we do venture off to all the counties around. So we've done, like she was explaining about our drives, we've done partnerships with companies in River Rouge, Livonia, downtown Detroit, Southwest Detroit. So as the many families that we can impact in a positive manner, we want to reach them.
You can find more.
We're open to everyone.
You can find more information on the Auntie and Nef Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit, in a couple of different places. Go to sharedetroit.org, where you'll find information on their organization and 342 other charities and nonprofits right here in Detroit and the metro area. Or you can go directly to their website at auntie-and-nef-foundation.com. auntie-and-nef-foundation.com, the place to go for all that, including their upcoming events. You mentioned one that ends today, the Double Good Popcorn Fundraiser is ongoing, that virtual popcorn fundraiser. You also will have another one, the Qdoba fundraiser. It's going on April 18th. Tell us about these and how these fundraisers ultimately go to support some of these programs, and just how far those donations and those funds being raised can actually go in our local area.
So we're so excited that you asked us about that, because we have family and friends who support us wholeheartedly all of the time, but we don't want to continue to ask them for funding over and over again, because you stretch them so thin. So we do fundraising. So like the Double Good Popcorn fundraiser, 50% of the proceeds go back to our foundation. Then we're able to so we have a big block party that we're having coming up. So our first inaugural back to school drive was at Gabriel Richard Park, and it was amazing. When we had a DJ, we had big games, we barbecued, we had hairstylists and barbers come out, but we want to make a big event of it this year. So the best way to do it is to fundraise, to find fundraisers that help us out, so we don't have to continuously ask our family friends, even though they are very supportive. And then with the Qdoba fundraiser, it'll be the same thing. We get a portion of the proceeds, and you'll be able to use that. What we do like about that is because you can use the QR code and purchase online, so you don't have to just physically come into the location. So we garnish these funds and we make it work. We do get a lot of funds from our family and friends. We get a lot of items from our family and friends, but this continues the process and allow us to reach more and more families. Like we started in October, we have already been able to reach 500 families. So our goal for this year is to reach over 2,000 families.
And just a little bit under 6 months, and they've already reached, as you said, over 500 families in our local area, and that's just and that's under half a year that they've done that. Imagine what can happen if the community is able to galvanize behind an organization like this and really make a big impact on our local communities. Joining us today on the program are Ashley Mattison, otherwise known as Auntie, and Neferkare Walker, known as Nef, from the Auntie and Nef Foundation, one of over 300 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform. Again, sharedetroit.org. You go there, you click on the Find a Nonprofit section. If you search for Auntie and Nef Foundation, you'll find more information on their organization, ways you can participate, some of their resources, volunteer opportunities, other ways that you can support their organization. You can also do the same by going to their website at auntie-and-nef-foundation.com for more information. On top of these events and specific fundraisers, people can help you all throughout the year as well. You have a shop on your website with some products too. Tell us about that, and what are some of the items people can pick up right at your website and support a good cause.
So on our website, we currently have T-shirts, we have tote bags, or soon we'll be adding the tumblers. We have tank tops and even hats, all for sale on our website. So you guys are more than welcome to go to the website and view all the merchandise that we do currently have at this time.
And another thing we do to keep the cost down, so all of the funding can go to our efforts and our initiatives, is that we do everything in-house. So we actually print and press the items ourselves. So it's amazing.
More information can be found, again, including their shop, including ways you can get involved, by visiting auntie-and-nef-foundation.com. auntie-and-nef-foundation.com. That includes ways that you can donate online and by mail as well. You can also send them an email through their contact page, again, at auntie-and-nef-foundation.com. But between the two of you, so much of this work being done in just a little bit under 6 months of operation as a 501c3 nonprofit, what are some ways that other people can get involved? They want to help you out, they want to help this cause and help support those in underprivileged and homeless life situations in their community and in the surrounding area.
Well, you can first go by our website at AuntieNefFoundation.com. We have all types of volunteer opportunities on there. You can also feel free to donate on there. There's a donate button. And when we host our drives, feel free to, give up any of those supplies that we may need for those certain drives that we'll be hosting.
You can, and all that can be found again on their website, AuntieNefFoundation.com. At the top of the page, click on donations/volunteer for more information on ways that you can get involved. You can click through and submit a form for volunteering. You'll also find a link to their Cash App, as well as other ways to contact them to get more involved, or at least to support the organization and all the great stuff that they're doing in our local area at this time. We're joined on the program today by Mattison and Neferkare Walker, who are those behind the Auntie and Nef Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit that's one of over 340 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform. Just a few more minutes with the both of you before we'll need to wrap things up for the day. So anything else that we haven't discussed yet about the Auntie and Nef Foundation that would be important for our audience to know or to keep in their mind in the near future?
Yes, we first just want to thank Share Detroit for allowing us this opportunity, and thank you for having us on your amazing show on this platform. We'd also like to say that her and I share a vision that is bigger than us and that we are extremely passionate about. Being underprivileged or homeless brings a lot of despair to our youth in the form of mental health issues, substance abuse, victimization, crime, and huge barriers in education and unemployment. This is why we are raising funds to open our Open Arms Center, where we will provide access to funding, workshops, a clothing bank, food pantries, therapy, and transportation for health and wellness purposes. Please support our efforts by visiting our site and making a difference today.
You can do that at AuntieandNefFoundation.com. Every step forward is a huge step forward for those that are in these life situations, and it can truly be life-changing in just one moment and one bit of support from you every single day. Thank you both so much for being with us today.
Thank you
so
for
much.
having us. We greatly appreciate it.
AuntieandNefFoundation.com. You can also visit them on Share Detroit's website at sharedetroit.org and explore over 340 other charities and nonprofits in the Metro Detroit area as well. That is going to do it for today's edition of the Megacast. As always, if you missed our live show from 10 a.m. to 11, you can always tune in live to tape or on demand on our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast. Our full episode and each segment are usually posted on our website about 1 o'clock in the afternoon each and every day. You can also find us on a number of different stations all throughout the Oakland County and the state of Michigan area as well. All the links to those stations, including those in your local area, can be found on civiccentertv.com/megacast. That includes statewide programming for free on your smartphone and your smart TVs on the free My Michigan TV app as well. Big thank you to each and every one of our guests on the program today. Of course, Neferkare Walker and Mattison from the Auntie and Nef Foundation, as well as Bob Gatt from the Oakland County Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center, as well as the Animal Control Division of Oakland County. Also, a huge thanks, as always, to our dedicated crew, Jared Clark, operating for us out of the My Michigan TV studio, and our director at Master Control today, as always, Calvin Brown, at the studio of Civic Center TV in West Bloomfield. Until next time, thank you very much for joining us. Take care of each other, and we'll see you very soon.